What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hamis Tech. So normally when we get a new phone in the house, it's always about its crazy specs, the fastest chipset, the biggest cameras, the biggest display, biggest battery, whatsoever. But this time it's a bit different, and I have been waiting for this phone for a very long time since it was released a year ago. I want to wait for its price to drop at a very sweet spot so I can get it. I got it for about 1000 ringgit, which is about 250 USD. Even if you get it about 300 or 400 USD, it is still a very good deal. And of course, I am talking about the Galaxy S10e. So normally when people ask me what phone should I get this time, I want at least a decent camera setup, I want a battery that can last me almost a day. I don't mind, not having a 2-day battery, but at least a 1-day battery. I want a phone that can give me updates for maybe 1 to 2 years, and a phone that can last me for quite some time. And a lot of times I always ask them the same question is, do you mind getting a 2019 phone? And if you're okay with it, and if they're okay with it, this phone is always on top of the list, which is the Galaxy S10e. I have to remind you guys that this phone is a Samsung flagship phone in its own right. So the first of all is its build, and it has a glass on the front and the back, which is very premium. It is very small, I cannot deny that. Look at this, it's a very tiny phone compared to what you're going to get in 2020. Nowadays you get like 6.5, 6.7, all the way to 6.9 on the S20 Ultra and Note 20 Ultra. Here you get a very small phone over here, and you know what? This is a very good phone and a good phone size to have. Because I watch a lot of content on this, a lot of Netflix, a lot of YouTube, and the reason because it's such a small phone, so it's easy to hold this to watch your shows or watch your content, and it's so much more convenient than to use two hands to hold because it's so big. It's so much easier to reach those buttons on the sides because it's easy to reach. They have a side button over here. And talking about this side button over here, it is a dedicated fingerprint scanner over here. Samsung's in-display fingerprint scanner, to be honest, is not very reliable. I have to press it multiple times. With this dedicated fingerprint scanner over here, you're not going to miss it. Just slide over here and it's going to get you into the phone. On the side here, you have your Bixby button, which of course nowadays you can just program it. Normally for me, I just put it to my cameras. When I click it, it goes to my camera, and you have your volume rockers in a similar fashion to the S10, which is very highly placed. But again, this is a very small phone, so it's easy to reach. And going back to that side button over here, you can actually use this to go down to your quick settings menu, which a lot of phones do not have this feature, which I find is very useful. And sticking on to the front is that flat screen over here you get. To be honest, this flat screen is very good. I don't really like curved screen nowadays. The S20 was pretty decent, but the phones like the OnePlus 8 Pro and so on, it's too aggressive for me. And scrolling through your social media or whatsoever, it's better to have a flat screen for that because it's much more user-friendly, much more usable. And then going on to that display, again, I have to remind you, this is a Samsung flagship display over here. Yes, you're not going to get a 90Hz or 120Hz panel, you're not going to get to Quad HD+, but this is a Samsung flagship display, so you're going to get very nice colors, very premium feel to it. So when you watch content over here, you're not going to feel much of a downgrade. Maybe it's not as smooth as your 2020 phones. So then again, this is a Samsung flagship phone, so you're going to get a very nice display on this S10e. Next thing over here that I do love is the fact that you have One UI, the same One UI over here as on the S20 and Note 20 models. And if you have seen the Samsung Unpacked event, you'll be very happy to know that Samsung did promise their S10 series, including this S10e over here, they're going to get 3 years of major software updates. So even if you buy this now in 2020, you are still going to get at least 2 years of major software updates. Maybe from then on you get small updates here and there, some security patches here and there, but for at least a minimum of 2 years, you are going to get major software updates. And the next thing I want to talk about are the cameras over here. Again, these are Samsung flagship cameras on the back over here. You only get two, which is pretty obvious over here. You get your main lens, which gives you very good shots. You're going to get very nice contrast, very nice colors on these photos you can take. And you have your ultra wide camera. Yes, I do know some other mid-range phones, they do give you like a triple camera setup, a quad camera setup, even a penta camera setup. But to be honest, all those depth camera, telephoto, it's not going to be very useful in the end of the day. All you need is a main lens and ultra wide, which this one does have. And again, it does give you very good shots. So going on to the front selfie camera over there, it's a Samsung flagship camera, so you're gonna get very good selfie shots over here. Other features you're going to get with this phone is DeX mode, you're going to get stereo speakers, you can get wireless charging, which for me is very handy because I have a few wireless pads all around the house. It's not, of course, very fast compared to your wired solution, but it's more of the convenience. You just pop it on the back and it does charge up. And it also does have an IP rating. So at this price point, between 250 to 400 USD, how many phones can actually give you so many features in a phone in 2020? And of course, the next thing over here is that inside here, the chipset powering this is a Snapdragon 855. Yes, it's not the Snapdragon 865 you get nowadays in 2020 or even the 865 Plus, but don't get me wrong, the Snapdragon 855 in 2020 is a very good chipset. Going through your social media, going through some photo, video editing, playing games, it's going to give you a very good performance right now up to today. I still do enjoy this phone very much because it does have a very good chipset. It's going to be fast, it's going to be very snappy with the Snapdragon 855. So that is it. If you guys are looking for a good phone to get in 2020, I would highly recommend this S10e over here. So if you did like and enjoy this video, do click the like and smash that subscribe button down below. It really helps a lot with the channel. Do follow me on my socials as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hamid Tech. So stay safe, take care, wash those hands, and of course, wear your mask.